What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is Life is How You Choose It to See It, reacting or creating, with our wonderful guest, Rachel Silber. And do you live your life responding to everything that is around you, or do you recognize that you are the source of your life and your experiences? In this show, we'll have a guest, Rachel Silber, who is a wanderer and a wanderer, a facilitator of possibilities, a speaker, an author, change maker, friend, a wife, and mom. She's been facilitating with Access Consciousness tools since 2011 and is grateful for every moment with weird and wacky tools she loves so much. Everything can change when ready to see it and ask for what we like. She knows. So, Rachel, welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me here, Helen. I am thrilled, really, really thrilled. Mixing radio shows, talking about tools, and one of my favorite people on the planet, you, and on the night of, lots of big changes around the world, I'm honestly thrilled.
How does it get any better than that? And Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? What was your life before Access Consciousness tools?
Well, I was alive, but that was
Are you sure?
The extent of it.
Are you sure you were alive?
Well, yeah, I was definitely alive because I was here. I was in this body. I was definitely here. Hang on a quick second. Funny. See, one of the other things, I'm getting calls right now on this line from the Government Ministry of Health. See, interesting stuff about being alive. There you go. So prior to Access, I did not recognize that I created my life, that I had any effect on my life at all. And really, that's where the title of the show comes from. I thought everything was going on outside of me. Everything was happening outside of me. And I didn't recognize the potency I have.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, sorry, I keep getting these interruptions. Lovely Ministry of Health. That's what happens when you're in quarantine and you came in a flight 3 weeks ago. They keep checking up on you. Funny, huh? But
yeah,
it's perfect. They haven't called me for days. Here you go.
It's interesting how it's all coming together with all the interruptions, and it's pretty much the topic of our today's show, isn't it? Can you say more about that?
Very much. So the title of the show, Life is How You Choose to See It, it's a play on words. I happen to, and this is something that I've developed after Access Consciousness. I learned that I actually have a sense of humor, and at least I can make myself laugh. That's been a huge gift in having the tools. And so I played with it. I'm a very visual person, and life is how you choose to see it, like the letter C. Are you reacting? Are you putting everybody else and their mother and their points of view and their stories and their desires to call you exactly when you're, in the middle of a radio show or doing whatever else that you'd like to do? Are you going to respond to putting out everybody else's fires first? Or are you going to be the one creating your life? And that C comes the first letter. Your choice, your desire, your contribution is the thing that creates your life. So that was how I played with the title. And prior just because I happen to have a bit of an ADD brain and I bounced around a little. I was diagnosed as bipolar when I was in college. I was depressed for many, many years. I was medicated with lots of stuff. I was injected with lithium, all these things of, life happens to me. And then I recognized that with these tools, I recognize that I'm aware. I recognize that life doesn't happen to me. It's actually something that responds to who and what I'm being in the world. And so when I'm willing to have more fun, be irreverent, joke and laugh and play with things, life responds that way and begins to play as well. And so it's been really, really different since 2011. I've been a lot happier.
Yeah, it's amazing going through bipolar and the depression and the medication. It sounds like you didn't let it define you in the way that other people define themselves. You chose something different. Can you speak more to that?
Well, when somebody gives you a diagnosis, you're pigeonholed, and this is now your title, your label, your boss, and based on this, we already know you, and you're most likely going to be responding to life and living based on what we've already decided is appropriate or what we have already judged as true for this. So they don't see the person who's actually there. They don't see the gift of the being that's there in front of them. They're not even curious at all. There's already this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 list of, this is what happened, and these are the symptoms, and these are the things, and this is what's happening to you. And you don't get to be who you'd like to be.
No, at all.
Because you're being whatever they've judged.
They also tell you exactly how you're supposed to feel. And you cannot, and you have to be that. So in 2011, you discovered access consciousness. How did you find it?
Oh, geez. I listened to internet radio. It was like a teleseries or a something or other. I remember it was the Sheila Gale show. And I had heard Gary Douglas speaking sometime in probably the end of 2010. And then I heard another facilitator being interviewed. And she was a little giggly and everything. And I thought, yes, stupid person. Doesn't she know that this world is horrible, that life is tough, that you're supposed to just kind of survive it, not actually be enjoying yourself and laughing like, what is this? And I couldn't understand half of what she was saying. It went over my head, but it pissed me off enough that I listened and listened again and again. And she used these really weird words. I'm sure you've used the clearing statement on the show before. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pop, shorts, boys and girls. In those days, we didn't have a website that invited us to explore what this means, etc. So I struggled to write it down on old green Post-it notes. I remember it because I carried that Post-it note with me, trying to remember those words until I kind of had it. And then I looked up. I looked up, where can I find this? And there wasn't much to be found, but I was traveling to the States. I live in Guatemala, and my family is in Texas. And so we were going to Texas for the summer, and so I reached out to a facilitator and asked for a session of bars because I'd heard, bars. Okay, so I'd like to have this. And she said, well, why don't you take a class instead? And without knowing anything about it, but just having this smile on my face for truly no good reason, I just said yes. And that was the beginning of it. And I've loved it ever since.
So when you started smiling uncontrollably, did you have any inkling what your life will be 9 years later?
Cognitively, not a fucking clue. No, I had no idea at all what it would be like, but I did just have a little more space of being me.
Yeah.
Truly a little more of a space of being.
Isn't that what
and
following
I followed that.
Yeah. isn't it what following the energy means when you go somewhere where it feels more expanding and lighter than what you've been before? Isn't it one of the tools of access consciousness?
It sure is. I mean, that's one of the things that we use as a GPS for life, as a little guiding system. If we just follow the lightness in everything that we choose, that I laugh a lot and say, it's when you smile with both sets of lips, at least if you're a woman. If you're smiling with both in a woman's body currently. So if you're smiling with both sets of lips, that's something that's really lighting you up. If you have more of what's lighting you up or what's creating that space, when I had smiled when she offered the class, the facilitator had offered me a class, there was this like tiny little breath of respiration, tiny little breath of, and that was the invitation to recognize there's something here. See, life isn't about the struggle. Life isn't about the suffering. Life is about that ease and recognizing that we create it by asking for more and more of that ease and that space and that joy and that smile to be added to our experiences. I mean, we've come here to have experiences and we're having lots of them. How many do we actually ask to have ease with?
Some people actually are looking for struggle, because what I found, people say, yeah, but I have to work for it. You have to struggle, suffering. It's almost like the normancy in this reality. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and she was talking about the coronavirus and how her business is down and all the depression that she's going through. And I'm like, wait a second. What about Earth? Earth is breathing now. And she's like, oh, wow, you're looking at this so positively. And I'm like, yeah, because things are actually looking up now. So,
yeah, I love to see the videos of animals walking through the streets and relaxing and enjoying themselves on this planet also.
Exactly. And the water being clear so the dolphins can come in and play with us. Isn't it what we're looking for? That lightness instead of pain and suffering. So,
and a lot of it depends on the way we look at something. Are we looking for the gift in the situation, or are we looking for the pain and suffering and the punishment in it? Are we looking for the lessons to have to learn and to pay the price? Or are we actually expanding our awareness and being willing to receive the information that's there for us and make choices that are more inspired and are more joyful and are more light?
Isn't that what your topic is about, is stop reacting and start choosing? And
That's
we are about...
magic, isn't it?
Magic, isn't it? Yeah. So we are about to go on our first break. And when we return, we'll continue discussing life is how you choose to see it, reacting or creating, with our guest, Rachel Silber. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message? The world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is Life is How You Choose to See It, reacting or creating, with our amazing guest, Rachel Silber. So before we went on the break, we were discussing how the life is different when you actually look from a different perspective. So can you say more?
Sure. Well, we have this tendency to see things, at least the way this reality works, to see things as happening to us. And instead of empowering us to choose something different, to contribute, to be a different contribution, to change something that isn't working, we wait. We wait until something happens that's, we say, out of our control. Well, everything's out of our control. Truly, is there anything we can control? Not very much. The only thing we can change is how we choose to be, to act, to respond in any given situation. So given, for example, what's going on around the world now with the coronavirus, many, like where I am, businesses have had to be shut down. Anything that's non-essential is shut down, and there's no, like not going to your office, or lots of shopping malls and stores or whatever are closed. But before the shutdown happened, my husband, who happens to be a person who's, rather aware, had this clue of let's make some arrangements for people to be able to work from home. And took steps without knowing anything about this is going to happen and there's going to be shutdown. About a week before, they transitioned to be primarily online. So that's the recognizing that, listening to the little whispers, or as you mentioned in the previous segment, you said following the energy. It's not like it's something very mystical. You just kind of get the awareness of this hunch. Okay, what do I need to be and do different to change this? And something pops up. Or how can we have more ease here? How can this become greater? Little awarenesses begin to kind of fall into your world when you ask questions. And you recognize that it's not happening to you. Things aren't just happening by surprise. There's certain ways that you can begin to change things. So rather than suffering and struggling in the time of the coronavirus for their office, they were able to, keep everybody hired, have everybody with salaries, everybody's working from home, and it's a totally different way of running a business, just by being flexible enough to make a change when required. And it starts from one's choice.
Yeah, and it's actually acting instead of reacting. That's what I found a lot of times. When we react, it's almost like an automatic response to this reality. Instead of just seeing, like you said, see, even that it is a letter C, but means to see what's in front of you, to be aware. So how much a lot of people are going through life without seeing what's in front of them. They might be aware, but they deny it.
Well, one of the things that they deny primarily is their ability and their potency, their power, their ability to be able to change anything, that ability to act. and they don't recognize that they have it. So they're waiting on someone from the outside to dictate to them what, where, and how they should be able to do something or not. And that's putting the power out, not in, not recognizing that you already be that. And then you're just living from not the truth of who you really be as a person.
And it's not just not recognizing the power and potency, it's forgetting that we have the magic of our attitude.
Yeah.
You know that wonderful line in the Bible, ask and you shall receive? People don't believe that. They believe everything else. And especially before the Passover.
Well, they'll believe it if it's like a parking spot, but they won't believe that it could be something bigger. They'll look at it as, tiny little things, all right, maybe, but nothing, more amazing could be in my life.
Yeah, it's almost like this. Yeah, the same thing about that joke, the power of God and the person. Do you know that joke about parking lot or parking spot?
No. No.
It's when a very religious person driving in New York, in Manhattan, trying to find a spot, and he's like, "Oh God, I've been so good. Please let me help me. Let me find a spot." And he goes around, "I'll do everything I need to. I will be very good. I'll go to synagogue, to church, or whatever it was. Just find me the spot." And suddenly he finds a spot. And the next thing he says, "Oh, thank you, God. I don't need it anymore. I found the spot." So that's kind of like...
we don't recognize when the universe or God, is there not reacting, but, responding to our very asks, to our questions, to our desires when we're willing to have them. We think we're all alone.
Exactly. It's like the chance by ourselves, or it's a chance. Never mind, I found it. It's so... and a lot of times what I found, if people ignore what the universe is offering, what God is offering, or whatever they believe in. We're not about to change people's beliefs here. But if they kind of like... they can choose whatever they want. That's exactly what we're talking about.
That's true.
Not reacting, but creating, and they're choosing. This is about empowering people to choose what they know.
And what works for them.
For them, exactly. Because for some people, their pain and suffering is what works for them. I've seen it over and over again. And especially,
it's the facade of this reality. It's what they believe is this reality. I remember going to Universal Studios once, many years ago, and, you walk into this, where they had filmed like a country western movie, whatever, and you see the fronts of the different buildings, and it looks so real from the outside. Then you peek in, there's nothing there. I was in New Zealand. We went to see where they filmed The Hobbit. And it was really cool. It was beautiful, and it looked so amazing. And there was one where the door would open and you could go in, but it was empty. There was nothing inside because it wasn't filmed there. And that's what people do. They respond to the facade without actually recognizing that they could have something else. They could have more than, just a shell of a life according to this. What else is available there? What magic, what mysteries, what wonders? Just by asking a question and recognizing that you can ask and receive.
Yeah, the question is what creates. It allows us to choose and have the awareness of what's out there. Because if we are in conclusion, we have that empty facade, empty shell of life, which is very small. But when we start asking questions, the universe actually answers, surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
But if we ignore it...
Surprisingly,
we are actually looking at that facade without looking inside and not seeing that it is empty, that there is something else beyond it. How often did we actually ignore the magic and miracles in our lives, saying, "Oh, that's impossible. That probably was just a coincidence." So, Rachel, you are doing a lot of different things, including access consciousness and also Akashic records.
Yes.
And
I know a fantastic teacher.
Yeah, who might
for
it be?
being my guide in the Akashic records.
Yeah. And I noticed that you were offering people a gift for this show. There was some special promotion and a discount offer that you're offering now. Could you tell us more about it?
Right. Well, I would love to have them contact me with their questions, because remember, to be able to have change, to be able to have clarity, to be able to have some sense of ease in something, you have to actually ask a question to see where you're functioning, what is, from whatever is going on in your life. If you're ready to have a change, then contact me, and I'd love to have a session with you. It's 45 minutes for a session, and I think I'd offered a special of $50 to anyone who is listening to this show live or in recording, I guess. And just contact me for a session. I'd be happy to play and see what contribution I could be in your life.
Wonderful.
Or in their life, whoever calls me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's awesome, because your consultation is much more than $50 for 45 minutes, right?
Well, my usual sessions are $150 for an hour. So it's something that for me is a way that I can contribute and have fun with the people who are listening to your show, and would like to know that they don't have to be the effect of every single thing that they see. And it just makes life a lot more fun if they're willing to have it. And I love the space that opens up with the Akashic records. I love there's an ease and a gentleness. It is very different than access consciousness. And I love to be able to have my feet in both areas and use the information and the questions to see what is required for this person. Is it holding the grace point to shift things physically? Is it doing the prayer? Is it asking more questions? What's going to change? What's going on? And I would highly recommend classes for the Akashic records with you if someone would like to do that. It is absolutely amazing and has been a very, very gift that keeps on giving in my life as well.
Wonderful. How can they contact you? Do they just go to your website, or do they call you?
They can go to my
email?
website. They can go to my website. They can call me. They can also find me on Facebook and send me a message on Messenger. There are lots of Rachel Silbers I found out on Facebook, but I'm the one that has fun pictures when you click on the profile. It's happy images. And I think I'm wearing a shirt that will definitely catch your eye in the picture. So, just find me that way or WhatsApp me, whichever way works for you. All the information about me is on the website, my website as well. So reach out, and I wonder what contribution I could be to you. Nobody is ever stuck with what's been going on in the past. Everything can change, and it can be just a different way of looking at things, or just a different perspective that sometimes is easier when someone else is with you and you feel like the world just closes in. Having a space of something different can change things a lot.
And they can, and it's on the podcast page, so they can just scroll down and see that. It's time for our and click. Yeah, it's our time for our second break today. So you're listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network, with today's guest, Rachel Silber. And when we return, we'll continue discussing our topic, how to choose to see it reacting, or creating? And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is Life is How You Choose to See It, Reacting or Creating, with our wonderful guest, Silber. So before we went on a break, we were discussing Akashic Records and the consultation that you're doing. What other classes or consultations are you doing right now with everything online?
Well, with everything online, it's been very different. I've started book clubs that I've been reading online. I opened up a Facebook group called The Space of Possibilities, and all I do in there is read. Sometimes I blab in between the readings, but I also read during the weekdays, not so much on the weekends, because then I just sleep in and enjoy myself a little differently, family time. But during the week, I've been doing that most days, reading books that are inspiring and fun for me. I read a book called The World of Choice, A World of Possibilities, with a World of Freedom. I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep going to World of Possibilities, but I read that last week, and this week we're reading the How to Become Money workbook, and that to me is an active choice. Again, are you reacting to your life, or are you choosing what's going to work for you? So in this time of quarantine, yes, I could read the news. Yes, I could get frustrated. Yes, I could, get worked up and panic and everything else. Or I could say, you know what, that doesn't work for me. I've got the gift of this time right now, this reset. I've been sent to my room for a few weeks, having to stay, in quarantine or stay indoors. So what can I do that's going to be a contribution with this time? And so I've been reading, and to me, it lights up my world and it lights up other people's world. So that's been fun. And then in another week and a half or so, I'll be facilitating a foundation class, an Access Consciousness Foundation class, which is where I love the 4 days of these tools that are just so phenomenal. Invite you to look at everything that you thought was true and real, all those facades that you had set up in front of you, and it gives them a little shake, or it opens those doors and goes, look, there is something that's all blank. Now, what would you like to choose? If this no longer had to exist, what would you choose to create as your life? And so it's this invitation to that, which is absolutely wonderful, and I love that. And so I'll be facilitating that in Spanish. And then in the next few weeks, I will be facilitating a foundation class with you as well. And I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Does it get any better than that?
That's mostly what I've been doing. I've been, reading aloud and doing book clubs and enjoying myself primarily. had a lot of enjoying myself time last week.
It's such a gift. Like that quarantine is definitely a gift because I just facilitated 4 days of foundation, and I agree with you. Online, it's totally different. The different expansion that requires you to be so much more present with everything that's going on. But the gifts in foundation are just beyond. The way people shift and change are just amazing, especially like when we were talking about money. In today's world, where some people are not working, some people are at home, working from home, but it was looking at money instead of kind of like the paper, looking at it as an energy. And again, looking at it, like seeing it differently, instead of reacting, choosing or creating. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Wait, 1 second. One of the things that I loved about that when you were just describing money, one of the things that really popped for me that you mentioned earlier is that we don't ask for the contribution of, God in the joke to find the parking spot or the universe to have our back. We keep thinking, and this is where our difficulty is, in those thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that we use to create ourselves as so separate that we're in this world of all by myself, and I have to do it all alone, and I have to use all this effort and frustration and blood, sweat, and tears, as they say. If it doesn't, no pain, no gain, etc. All of that you have to put so much effort because you have to carry the world on your shoulders, rather than recognizing that everything is contributing to you. Everything is energy. Money's not necessarily, a hunk of gold or a piece of paper or, a credit card or some e-currency that they have nowadays. It's just energy. And we also are energy. So we are just like money. But we don't recognize that because we keep trying to hold on to all of these definitions of we are all alone, we are whatever.
We are suffering. We are suffering, and that's how it is, and it cannot change. It's all of it is, instead of being so fluid, because when we look,
Yeah, go ahead.
The underlying, it's energy. When you look under electron microscopy, there is nothing. There is just space and energy vibrating at different frequencies that makes it so kind of like solid. And it's our point of view. It's how we see it. The observer makes it solid, makes it into particle instead of wavelengths. Remember the movie, What They Believe Do We Know?
I love that movie.
Because it's all talks about the way we look at the world, the way we see it. That's how it creates itself. It follows our point of view.
Yeah, do you remember in that very movie, they showed Dr. Masaru Emoto's experiments with water crystals, and that when you project something at a water molecule, in his case, they were freezing different water bottles, right, they put like labels on them of gratitude and love and hate and I hate you, I'm going to kill you. Or they've done this where they've played music, certain like heavy metal music versus, say, Mozart or something else that's, to see what the differences are. But particularly with the words, I have gratitude for you, I appreciate you, I love you, had such a very different look, like crystallized wise. When they looked under the microscope, the crystals of that water were beautiful. They were responding to that message of love and possibility. And the one where it said, I hate you and I'm going to kill you or something like that, was this blob that did not look very attractive at all and certainly didn't crystallize. So how much is the world? How much are our bodies? How much is everything literally responding to whatever it is that's the projection of our point of view? And if we have an underlying point of view that life is terrible or that we have to suffer, well, then that's how the world's going to be responding to us, giving us more of that, rather than, when you're grateful for the gift of what is right now, then how much more beautiful could it be without any point of view of how? Because, the world surprises us in so many different ways, and we may say it's chance, but it's the surprises of the universe. What else is available?
Yeah, because the universe is so abundant. Look at the nature. There is no empty spaces. There is no, even desert has life. But somehow we don't realize that. We see it as, and again, how you see it. People see desert like lifeless. But then you can see and choose how much of life is actually even in a desert, not just in a jungle.
Yeah.
And again, people can look at jungle saying, oh, it's dangerous, it's going to kill you, versus looking at the beauty of everything. And the more I realize that, the more we look at the beauty, the more beauty shows up. Remember that question in Access? Universe, show me something beautiful. And the universe always answers.
Beautiful energy here. Mm-hmm. I would say look in the mirror to start.
Right. And looking in the mirror, a lot of people have so many judgments on themselves that they don't see themselves. They look through, because as you know, we don't see ourselves. We cannot see ourselves, even in the mirror. All we see is just reflection of us. And totally screwed up.
Reflection of those lies we bought.
On the top of that, but I'm talking about even without the judgment, without lies, it's not true us. It's reflected, so it's opposite of us. Because our right hand becomes a left. So we actually seeing the opposite of what we are. So then we judge it because it is opposite of what we are, not seeing us, and so on and so forth. And with that judgment, how much reaction do we create?
Yeah. But that's when we're looking at it and looking at trying to find fault, not looking with the eyes of gratitude and appreciation for what is. Even if it's just one little thing. Believe me, there are, oh boy, a few years ago when I'd be in front of the mirror naked, getting ready for a shower, for example, it would take about a split second, not even a second, not even a half a second, to dash into the shower as quickly as possible so I wouldn't have to see myself, in front of the mirror. But now, geez, it could be like a little while before I put on any clothes or try to hide myself in any way, shape, or form. And my body is far from the ideal of perfection. I'm a size 12, 14, whatever, but I'm enjoying myself a lot more. And so I'm willing to be goofy and irreverent and joyful and play. And yes, periodically I'll judge myself, and then I'll just stop and then I could keep going down this road, or I could choose something else.
Yeah. Or you can talk and pot and go into allowance of your body. And
the Facebook Live you did last week was one of the greatest gifts that I've received. I loved it.
Thank you.
The space of vulnerability and the space of openness and being willing to see what is and be willing to allow it to be, and then to ask, well, what is this and what can we do to change this? It's phenomenal.
Thank you. And we are going on our third and final break of the show, and you're listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we'll continue talking with Rachel Silber about the choices, creation, and how we see our lives. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Helen Gitlevich. I'm Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is Life is How You Choose to See It, reacting or creating with Rachel Silber. Amazing Rachel Silber. So before we went on a break, we were talking about being vulnerable and the judgments instead of being in gratitude. So, Rachel, with everything that we've been, with everything you've been through, I've been through, and all the judgments and everything else, what's your words of wisdom to the people who listen now and who will be listening later on in the recording and podcast? How can they see their life differently?
Well, my first response would be recognize that you can laugh at yourself a lot more. And not laugh at yourself like with derision, but just like, oh, isn't that funny? Look what I chose. So rather than getting mad at whatever you were, whatever you've done, whatever you've chosen before, whatever misery you may have, quote-unquote, brought upon yourself. Because that's one of the things, honestly, that I had the most difficult time with when I first found out that I get to choose and I get to create, is why would I create this shit? What value?
Yeah.
I would get really, really frustrated. But when I recognize that I have a choice, and I get to have whatever I've created up to now, if I don't judge it, if I'm willing to just go, wow, well, whatever I've chosen brought me to right here and right now. And from this right here and right now, what would I like to have more of? And one of the things that I've really gotten is that if I'm willing to just be with what is and not necessarily even having to do it,
okay.
if I just...
Uh-huh. You
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Did
so
I
continue, Rachel. Yeah, you cut out a little bit, but no worries.
Oh, I'm sorry. So that's the really interesting thing. When we're willing to, in Access speak, we call it lowering our barriers and just being present. For me, in English speak, it's just be present with what is and not be so concerned about trying to get anything right. It's all right according to somebody's point of view. So if you didn't have that point of view, if you didn't know whatever that expectation is, if you didn't have this standard of, whatever you've judged to be, so perfect and measuring up to that, what if it just didn't matter? I'm a great bundle of curiosity. So I wonder today, what beauty could I see and be and enjoy? How much more gratitude beyond anything I've ever known before could I be? And how much more fun can I have being me?
So how much can we actually change the world by actually being in that in being in allowance of who we are, what we are in the world around us. And instead of judging
that means you're not trying to change it. Yeah. You're not trying to force it to fit some sort of fantasy or insanity that it has to look a particular way. And you have the gift of just being present. And as you said before, that presence, that observation of what is, can begin to shift and change it. I'm so grateful that you had me on the show, Helen. Can you hear me? Did I mute myself? Helen, but I will say I'm very, very grateful for this topic. I'm very, very grateful for this space. And I'm very grateful that each one of us, if we're willing to recognize that we're more than we've ever imagined ourselves to be, can change anything and everything around us. And to me, Dr. Helen, or to me Helen, is such an invitation as well to that space and to that joy. That's why I'm thrilled to be co-facilitating a foundation class with her. If you haven't had an opportunity yet to experience one of her classes in person or online, even nowadays, do play with it. I so enjoyed the only online class that I've done with her, both present and online, was the Akashic Records class, and that space of being present, of being vulnerable, of looking at what is and allowing yourself to be with what is, not judging it, can change anything and everything. Helen's here! Yay! How does it get even better? I'm very grateful for this space. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope we get to hear Helen's voice before the show ends. I still don't hear you, Helen.
We've got her on. Hi, Rachel. This is Keisha, your producer. And for some reason, Helen's line has decided it wants to just play tricks and do some sneaky stuff. So since we're in the last couple of minutes, there she is. There she is. Say some more, Helen. Yep, that's the fun of live show. I was just going to ask Rachel to let everybody know one more time where people can find her if you want to jump into that.
Yeah, could you tell us how to find you? That would be wonderful.
Sure. If you go to be joy, like literally the letter U, the letter B, and the word joy.com. You have all my contact information there on the website. You can also find me on Facebook. I have a Joy of Being Facebook page with Rachel Silber. You can contact me there, send me a message, come play, and have some fun. Things never show up the way we think we do. We think they do.
Never does.
And we just have fun with them.
And I'm so grateful for you being here. It's been such an eye-opening conversation. It's about literally being who we are. And with all the tools, the Access Consciousness, Akashic Records, it can create a life that is truly different, full of joy instead of suffering. As Access Consciousness says, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And that's what it is. So, Rachel, with all the events that we're doing,
barriers to any.
Yeah, no barriers, and allowing us to be who we are. So, with the next week show, it will be same time, same place. Will be just me on the show, and the topic will be talking more about how you see your life and how much all of that is pretty much is your choice. So we'll see you next week. Ta-ta!
Ta-ta!
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic